So to understand the future of hydrogen, it's important to understand the past and how it's already shaped the future. Hydrogen is one of the most abundant elements on our planet, present in oceans, plants, organic materials, and resources such as natural gas, oil, and coal. Hydrogen is everywhere. One of the first commercial uses for hydrogen was in the 1880s for airships. After that, in 1936, it was used in the Hindenburg. Although hydrogen wasn't proven to be the cause of the tragic disaster, even today, the event presents challenges when trying to site and permit public hydrogen fueling stations, and I can attest to that. Early uses for hydrogen were mainly industrial and included fertilizer production to grow our crops, steel processing, and oil refining. The space program and the development of the high-tech industry created new demand for hydrogen. Rocket propulsion, glass manufacturing, semiconductor processing, and solar cell production were those new demands. These applications used hydrogen generally for its buoyancy properties and its ability to combine with other molecules. Most of the hydrogen produced today is used in oil refining to remove sulfur and allows refiners to produce cleaner burning gasoline. In fact, if you take all the hydrogen that's produced today for oil refining, it could support nearly 50 million fuel cell electric vehicles. That's about 1/3 of the vehicles on the road today. Most hydrogen is produced in steam methane reformers, or SMRs, which involves the cracking of natural gas with hydrogen in large centralized production plants and pipelines connecting many of its users. It was the development and commercialization of the fuel cell that created a new role for hydrogen as an energy carrier. Electrical energy can now be stored by creating hydrogen and then used in fuel cells to create electricity basically anywhere. Hydrogen enables the electrification of everything. This includes motive power for transportation, stationary power for backup and grid-connected applications. Hydrogen has the potential to be the thread linking many energy resources to a common electrical platform. The use of hydrogen in fuel cells results in zero emissions at the tailpipe. And water and oxygen are the only byproducts. So what's happening in hydrogen today? In materials handling and large distribution centers, the replacement of batteries with fuel cells on forklifts in large distribution centers is becoming mainstream. Companies who have operated forklifts on batteries for years are now replacing them with fuel cells because of the efficiencies gained with no charging times, no battery swaps, and the time saved from those processes and the extended range they get. Large distribution centers are filling nearly 400 forklifts per day. Over 60 warehouses in the US are currently using hydrogen-powered forklifts, including Walmart with 20 sites, Coca-Cola, P&G, Kroger, and BMW, to name a few of these customers. And the cars aren't coming anymore, they're finally here. Toyota, Honda, and Hyundai are leading the way with fuel cell electric vehicle deployments, offering vehicles with ranges of nearly 300 miles plus. There are 25 public fueling stations in California today, with another 20 in development supporting nearly 1,100 cars. A single hydrogen station is able to support a large number of vehicles, offering refueling times of 4 to 5 minutes using dispensers similar to gasoline dispensers. Liquide, in collaboration with Toyota, is developing a network of hydrogen fueling stations in the Northeast connecting Boston to New York City. The connected car has enabled the development and the use of station finder apps to ensure a positive customer experience that is so critical in these early deployments. So what's the future of hydrogen look like, and how is it going to continue to shape our future? First of all, achieving scale is critical to lowering the cost of ownership. The build-out and scale necessary to support the mass deployment of fuel cell electric vehicles, trucks, trains, and buses will create the need for large investments in innovation in new production and supply chains. This includes new hydrogen production plants and processes, pipelines, liquid hydrogen plants, and new storage materials for efficient hydrogen distribution. The use of collaboration between all stakeholders will help reduce the risk. GM and Honda have already announced collaborating on fuel cell technologies, and Toyota has announced in 2015 free use of 5,600 fuel cell patents. The use of solid waste and landfill gas as a feedstock to produce renewable hydrogen using traditional reformation technologies and new syngas processes will be increasingly important. As landfills become more difficult to develop, direct waste to hydrogen pathways will start to emerge. Air Liquide currently has landfill gas operations in the country today, where we inject biogas into the natural gas pipeline to be used for renewable power, bio-CNG, and eventually hydrogen. Power to hydrogen production pathways using grid-connected megawatt-scale electrolyzers to absorb power surpluses that will result from the dynamic patterns of wind and solar will ensure efficient use of these renewable investments. Using smart grids and real-time connectivity, we'll be able to produce hydrogen when grid demand is low and store excess power in the form of hydrogen in pipelines, salt caverns, liquid tanks, and in new storage materials currently under development. We'll be able to use this stored energy to generate electricity when grid demand is high or distribute it into new and traditional markets. Heavy-duty truck and bus fleets provide opportunities to develop the scale needed to reduce hydrogen production and infrastructure costs. Nikola Motors, a startup, recently announced a plan to build 360 hydrogen stations across the US and Canada over the next 7 years to support their heavy-duty truck, fuel cell truck fleet. This is a tall order, but these are the kinds of investments that are needed to achieve scale. Distributed small-scale hydrogen production and fueling systems will reduce the need for bulk transportation. This is already taking place, with companies developing small electrolyzer and SMR-based systems that can be installed in homes and in office parking lots. Achieving scale will require major investments in local infrastructure here at home, technology, and a skilled labor force. Now, will hydrogen enable a technology shift, as previous speakers mentioned? Major technology shifts will continue to occur, similar to the ones that we've already experienced. The typewriter to the word processor, film to digital photography, horse and carriage to automobile. Hydrogen and fuel cells technologies open the door for another major shift as a new energy vector emerges, changing how we power our homes, cars, transportation system, and allowing us to use the abundant natural and renewable resources available to create and store electrical energy. As with other major shifts, scale and innovation will be necessary to drive down cost in order for mass adoption. If this shift occurs, companies will need to evolve their strategies to secure their position in this new environment, or possibly get left behind like Kodak, Digital Equipment, Smith Corona, and a slew of buggy whip makers who failed to see obsolescence on the horizon. The internal combustion engine has served society well for over 100 years and presented huge opportunities for all companies involved in the continuous development, manufacturing, and operation. At the same time, hydrogen has benefited society by helping us grow more food, take us into space, clean our air, and support a technology revolution. A shift to electrify our world is underway. And like the past, hydrogen will continue to play a key role in our future.